started. There is one user here. Suppose this is my outside world. Okay, here this is the inside world. Okay, now here guys, so this is my firewall, any firewall. Okay, this is my firewall. Okay, this is my outside network. Okay, and this one is my inside. This whole network is my inside. Okay, now, so basically how the firewall works. So in the most of the firewalls, okay, not each and every firewall. Some firewall has the one kind of feature called ACLs, access control list. ACLs, access control list. So what is this ACL? So ACL is one kind of feature available in the firewall. Okay, so with the help of this ACL, you can actually deny and permit any kind of traffic. Sorry, you can deny and permit any kind of traffic between two zones. Okay, so how the ACL works? So let me explain this thing briefly. Okay, now, so in the ECS, so we have one option, we have one server, different services like DNS. So what is the port number for DNS, guys?
53.
And protocol?
I think it's UDP.
Okay, Nimish, yesterday you sent me the assignment, right?
Yes.
Okay, I revert you back.
But then I resend it to you, adding the protocols.
Oh, Anish, actually, I forgot the assignment. I'll send you after the class right now.
Why? I don't think that how you gonna forget this assignment. It's the important thing.
Actually, I saw the video today and I didn't remember it, so I'll send you after this class.
But yesterday you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there.
So,
it just completely got out of my mind.
So yeah, don't tell me after this training, this Palo Alto whole training goes out of my mind.
Yeah, it won't happen again. Sorry.
Okay, now there's one more service, that is HTTP. So what is the port number for HTTP?
80.
And the protocol?
It uses TCP.
Right, TCP, port number 80. So in this ACLs, access control list, okay, so we mention this kind of services with the protocols and the port numbers, well-known port numbers. Okay, so using this ACL, okay, firewall allow the services. Here firewall allow the inbound to the outbound according to this ACLs. Okay, so in the ACLs we allow this kind of services. Okay, suppose we allow this. Okay, so it will allow this traffic, DNS, that is port UDP protocol, and port number 53, and HTTP, TCP protocol, and port number 80. Okay, this is how the ACL works. But in Palo Alto, we have the Palo Alto device. Okay, going deeper into this, like suppose there is one user here. Suppose there is one user here, like you can say there is one user called Bob. Okay, now Bob wants to access DNS, so Bob is using DNS, right? So we allow the DNS service, port number 53. So Bob will use the DNS service using the ACLs, this one. Okay, but suppose any one more user is here, we can say Greg. Okay, now Greg has some Greg is infected people. Okay, so Greg system has some infection, the virus infection. It has some virus infections. Okay, and Greg wants to send some malicious information, we can say malware, to outside world. Okay, so what they will do, what Greg will do, Greg will do the tunneling. Greg will do the tunneling and use the port number of the DNS service 53 and the protocol. So ACLs only see whether the traffic which is outgoing, whether that belongs to the DNS service, UDP port number, UDP protocol port number 53. So Greg used the UDP protocol and port number 53, but into the payloads of that services, he sends some malicious information to the outside world. So what this ACL will do, ACL will allow this directly, because ACL will check only the port numbers, protocol and port numbers. ACL won't check the what is there in the payloads of the traffic. Are you getting my point, guys? It will check only the port numbers and protocol. It won't check what is there behind the scenes. What is there behind the scenes?
Yes.
Okay. We can say it called like IP spoofing. We can say that, like changing the IP address, similar like what we are using. So here it changed the protocols and port numbers, and it sends some malicious information using that protocol and port numbers. Okay. So ACL are not able to detect this kind of things. Okay. Now there is one more user. We can say there is one more user called Nimish. Okay. Now Nimish is a one kind of developer. Nimish is a developer. Okay. Now he developed something out there and which is not good for the system. Nimish developed something which is not good for the system. So what Nimish will do, Nimish wants to send that developer that what he invented, he wants to spread all over the world. Okay, so what he will do, he will use this port, TCP port 80. He will use TCP port 80, protocol TCP and port number 80, and using this protocol and port number, he will send traffic to outside world. But what ACL will check? ACL will check only the protocol and port number, right? It won't check what is there behind the scenes. So actually, the Nimish uses the TCP protocol and port number 80, but it is not a HTTP traffic. It is something like malicious. So ACLs is not able to track what is there into the payloads. Okay. Now this understood, guys? This point, everyone. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Any doubts? You can ask me now.
So what does ACLs stand for?
Access control list.
Is there an acronym?
Access control list. It's a one kind of like we create policies, right, in the firewall to allow or deny services. So ACL working like say, it has the information what kind of traffic you want to allow, what kind of traffic you want to block. Okay, so
Anish,
yes,
ACL just checks like whether information is for like a specific protocol and the specific port number, and that's
right.
it.
Yes, it won't check the what is there behind the scenes.
Okay, it doesn't go into the information.
Yes. So to come out with the situation, we have in Palo Alto that is option called App ID. We have option called App ID. Okay, so in Palo Alto we have one option called App ID. So what App ID will do? App ID. Okay, so App ID, we can say application identity. The full form of this App ID is application identity. Okay, so what this App ID will do? App ID will check whether so this Greg is sending one message, right, using a UDP protocol and port number 53, but actually he's not using the DNS service. He's sending something else, right? In this example, right, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so what this App ID will do? App ID will check the port number, the service. Okay, then also he will check the what is there into the same, what is there into the payloads of the directory.
So like for example the content of the data set,
Yes.
right?
Yes, content of the data set. So once the App ID found this is not actually DNS service, so what App ID will do? App ID will block this from here only. The same from Nimish. He is using the TCP port, TCP protocol and port number 80, but he is not sending request for HTTP service. It's sending something else. So app ID will find out this thing and it will stop here also. Okay, so app ID has some kind of features we can say. So let me show you this. This one.
Anish,
Yes.
one question, Anish.
Yes.
So if the user wants to send through a DNS port itself, but his data contains some virus, so will App ID still be able to stop that data?
I didn't get your question. Can you please come again?
So the user wants to send the data through DNS port, but the data itself has some virus in it. So will that time will App ID block the data or will it pass through it?
See, it will check whether it's actually a DNS service, whether it's asking for actual DNS request. So if it is genuine DNS request, so this app ID will allow.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will block.
Okay, so nothing to do with the data. If the data has some virus, it still goes through it.
But it will. Let me show you this. It has some classification identity, so that we are discussing right now.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry. We are discussing this thing only. Okay. Now, what happens in this? Some of the firewalls. Okay. So firewall. Some of the firewall like checkpoint. So what the checkpoint has? Checkpoint. Suppose there is one checkpoint firewall. Just a minute. Okay. So this firewall, there is one option. There is one more. We can say blade. The checkpoint is in the blade. So there is one more blade. IPS. Intrusion Prevention System. So whether the firewall configure on the IPS, otherwise if we have another IPS server, okay, so how this firewall works, firewall will send a traffic to the IPS server. Once IPS server will approve the traffic, then firewall allow this traffic to outside world. Okay, so there is we need to configure IPS. Suppose if we don't have Palo Alto device and we are using ACLs, so we have chances that someone using the port numbers, different service port numbers, and send some malicious information. So to come out with the situation, if we don't want to implement Palo Alto, we can configure IPS. So IPS will track all these things.
Anish, what is IPS?
There's a one kind of feature available in most of the firewalls, intrusion prevention system. It will check, it will scan all the traffic which is coming in or going out. If anything is then malicious, so it will block over there only. Okay, but in Palo Alto, we have all these things, including into the app ID. Okay, now you can see here we have 5 options under the app ID: classification, signatures, decryption, decoders, and actions. So what is the classification? Okay, so in this classification, so app ID has all the information of all the services, their port numbers, and their protocols. So app ID knows everything. It has all the database, their own database. App ID has their own database, and in that database, all this information are there, like different services and the protocols and the port numbers. Okay, so first app ID will see whether it is which classification it is, then it will move to the signature. So what this signature will do, so signature is one kind of feature available in this Palo Alto. So signature is one kind of, we can say, feature in the application ID. It's a hidden feature. Okay, so it will actually see, it will move, suppose if you are trying to access Facebook, right? So Facebook using port number 80 and use the TCP port, right? Right?
Yes.
Right or wrong, guys?
Yes, Anish.
Anish, could you please
Yes,
repeat?
sorry.
I couldn't get you.
Like Facebook use protocol TCP and port number 80. Facebook works on HTTP service, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what the signature will do?
Facebook,
Sorry.
I thought Facebook uses HTTPS because every username login is
So
secure.
that's why I'm asking you. You are saying yes.
Oh, no. It's HTTPS. Facebook uses HTTPS.
Okay.
Okay, and Google?
Google is HTTP,
Right,
but Gmail is HTTPS.
right. Okay, so suppose you have one website called Facebook or Google, anything. Okay, so what the signatures will do, signature will actually check. It will check the application, the signatures, the certification, all the thing, whether that is the actual website, what the user is trying to access, what user is accessing, is there the actual website. So signatures will actually find out all these things. It will move to the Facebook, it will check all these things, the signatures, the certification, everything. Because you know that there are some certification, suppose if you access any kind of website, so there is one certification error, right?
Right.
Right. So this is all these things will check by this Palo Alto signature, one kind of feature, signatures. Okay. Then there is one more feature called decryption. Okay. Now let me just explain you this decryption here. Okay. Now here suppose there is one user. Mm, Let me choose color. Okay. Now this is my user, one user called Bob. Okay. Now he used port number to send a data to the outside world. He used the service SSL, SSL and TLS. SSL and TLS, right? So you all know that SSL and TLS. Okay, so if anyone using this kind of services, so all the data got encrypted over here, right? And it will decrypt outside the world. It will move the
Yes,
traffic,
yes,
the traffic between this from Bob to outside world. The whole data got encrypted in between, so no one can sneak into, right? Okay, so
yes.
how the Palo Alto device app ID works on it? Okay, so app ID. So this is a Palo. Suppose this is a PA device, Palo Alto device. Okay, okay. So Palo Alto device will create one proxy between the Bob user Bob and this interface, internet interface. It will create one. This will create one encryption here between these two. Okay, and on this outside wall, this one also. Here Palo Alto also making one encryption here with this outside zone and between the ISP. So here in this, suppose if I am using SSL port number, SSL services. So Palo Alto device will do the decryption here. So suppose the Bob sends a traffic using SSL. So it will move to this interface. Okay. So in here, in between here, let me choose another color here. Here. So what Palo Alto will do, it will decrypt all the traffic. What is there into the encryption? In here, Palo Alto will check all the traffic, all the data, and if it finds that everything is fine, then it will again encrypt the data here and it will send the decryption here. Got it there?
Anish, does Palo Alto like use the same encryption that the user has like sent it with?
Yeah, that depend upon what kind of what kind of encryption method you are using, because it
Okay,
has all
so
these methods.
okay, so what Palo Alto does is like take user generated data which Bob sends, then decrypts it and checks for like any malicious thing, and again encrypts it and sends it to the outside, right?
Right, right.
Okay, thank you.
Now guys, this is one kind of feature called decryption. So this is how it works. And there is one more feature we call decoders. Okay, now anyone tell me what is decoders? What is the use of the decoders?
It decodes the encoded.
Yes. So now the decoders, what decoders will do? Decoder will check whether that port, whether the service, the port number, whether it is actually TCP, whether they actually using port number 80. So decoder will check the port numbers and protocols. It will decode all the things into the firewall, Palo Alto device. If it finds perfect, then it will send back. Okay, and we have action. So action, we have how many options we have under the action, guys, in the Palo Alto? We already create one policy, right? Not one, I think 4 to 5.
Block or allow?
I guess enable, disable.
Allow,
Block or
block. Okay, now allow and block is there. So we have one more feature in this app ID that is called scan. So after all this process, okay, after after all this process, okay, the under the last process, we if you want to allow the service, we can see here we can choose allow block action allow. If you want to block this, we can choose action block. And we have one more feature called scan. Okay, so at the end of this action, the Palo Alto device again check all the traffic. It will scan all the traffic here into action element. So this is the app ID. Understood this?
Yes, Anish.
Everyone? Hello guys.
So where does the app ID obtain the signatures from?
It has the database.
Okay.
Yesterday I showed you something about the dynamic updates on the Palo Alto device, which is located in our lab. So there is some update available of application and thread. Remember? No?
We configured it, the license that we got.
Just a minute, let me show you again.
No, the update firewall, the dynamic update thing. We checked the release notes. You asked us to check the release notes before updating anything.
This one, let me show you here. This one. This is update for application threads. Can you see this, Nimish?
Yes, Anish, I can see.
So in this, it is or this is dynamic update. So if anything in any new application is there, the Palo Alto has the option called dynamic updates. So in the dynamic updates, we have the Palo Alto device will get updated every week. So in these apps, we have all the information regarding the features, signatures, and everything. This is the database, one kind of database, we can say, and it has all the threads. So what are the newer threads are there? So Palo Alto has all the information. So this is the thread.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the updates. From here we can update our database, application database. Okay, so now, so everyone understood this application ID?
Yes, Anish.
Yes, Anish.
Yes.
Now I have three questions for all of you. Okay, so let me start with this. Okay. Keyur. Hello, Keyur, are you there?
I don't know, there is some problem with my connection maybe today.
Yeah, so you're there, right?
Yeah, I'm here. It's just coming. It's keep going and coming back again. I don't know what's happening.
You understood app ID?
Yes, I understood that.
Fine. So I have one question for you.
Okay.
How can the firewall see inside the payload of encrypted traffic?
Can you repeat the question?
How can the firewall see inside the payload of encrypted traffic?
Using decoder?
No. Nimish.
It uses decryption
Right.
to see inside the
Encrypted
Okay,
traffic.
yeah.
encrypted traffic.
Right.
So, what's the difference between decoder and decryption?
Okay, suppose
Decryption has to do with encrypted messages. The decoder uses the header, like for instance, if it is TCP or UDP, then that has to be decoded.
Yeah, but function of both of them are same, right? Because it converts the signal into a different form, and then it converts.
You're using RSA algorithm to encrypt the message, then you have to use RSA to decrypt it. You cannot be using something else to decode it. Decoding and encryptions are two different things.
Okay.
okay.
Like if you guys know or not, like the way how your FM signals come in, and I'm not sure if you're from telecommunication or not, but if your FM signal is coming in, FM is not encrypted signal. You can just decode it from your any radio and you can listen to music. But if you are getting a satellite signal, then you have to decrypt it because satellite signal decryption and decoding are two different processes.
Okay, so let me note it down because I need to read about that.
Okay, fine. So you understood now? Can
Yeah, I understood. No, I'm confused between decryption and decoder, but I will read about it.
you still confused?
Yeah, because both of the function in the
Both
function,
functions
if
are
we
not
see, both
same.
are the same.
Both are the different
And
things. Yes, Abhishek.
I meant to say, like, just add to what Nimish said. For decryption, you need a suitable encryption key. So you also need the encryption key at both the sender ends and receiver ends. So the receiver end, only when having the encryption key, can decrypt the information and get it. But decoding is just like transforming information from one form to another for sending over a medium. So you don't need like any. So anybody can like decode it and listen to it.
Okay, yeah.
Let me
That's
just,
helpful.
okay, now you heard about the modem.
Yeah, I heard it.
So what is modem? Modem is one kind of encoder and decoder,
Receiver. Yes.
right? So the modem
Okay.
modem is connected to telephone lines, right? Telephone lines works on the analog signals,
Yes.
right? So and the modem is connected to the computer, and computer doesn't understand the analog signal. It only understands digital signal, zeros and ones, right? So modem will decode the traffic, the analog signal into digital and digital into analog. It is decoder.
Okay. Right.
Understood decoder now?
Yes.
Okay, decryption is like simple thing. Okay, now suppose if you want to send some file and you have a bunch of files, so what you will do? You will zip that file, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you will send it, right? So decryption is like same here. It is one kind of provide you some security to your data, because if you send a zip file, so no one can sneak into, but if they have the WinZip or any kind of software, with the help of that you can unzip that file, right? Without that you cannot do
Okay.
that. So
Right.
decryption is like same here.
Okay. Right. I got it.
It will decrypt the encrypted traffic.
Okay.
Now understood?
Yeah. Yeah, I now understood that.
Good.
Thanks.
Am I right, Abhishek, Nimish?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's finished. Yeah.
Yes, Anish.
I think Abdul is silent now, so let me just ask him a question. Hello, Abdul, you there? How are you?
Good, good.
You're offline. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, now next question for you.
Yeah.
What is the primary function of decoder?
Decoder, yeah. Let me check. It checks the protocol and port number of the packets which have been sent through by users. That's the primary function of it.
Okay.
If it is right or wrong.
I can say that.
Sorry?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Okay, now next question. Last one. Who's going to answer this question? Mahesh.
Okay, Anish, I'll try. Sorry.
Okay. When the traffic is allowed, what are the other action might be taken?
In decoder?
The
Like,
question is, I'm not asking you for decoder.
okay.
This question is related to app ID.
Okay.
When the traffic is allowed, what other actions might be taken?
Okay. It will take a dynamic update.
What?
It will
Suppose if you allow any kind of services into policy, so it will check the updates. That you are saying. Shrudip,
So it will do allow, block, and scan for the data order.
yeah, we allowed that already.
Okay, so it will just scan the data.
Right.
scan the data.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
May scan the data, not update.
Okay, yeah, scan the data. I written here, but okay.
But I think you are not here.
Me?
Yes.
No.
Now
I'm here, but
I can see you. You are here in this attendance list, but mentally I don't think so. You are here.
no, Anish, I'm here, but
You were confused.
yeah, I have in mind. I have like a scanning and dynamic update, two answers, but
Both are different things.
yeah, both are different things. That is on regarding the Palo Alto application. Great.
Okay. Now there is one more option, guys. Now I complete my question as a session. Now I forget to tell you something about this and the action. So there is scan, and there is one more thing that is called QoS, quality of service. QoS, quality of service. Anyone knows what is this QoS? Hello.
Yeah. Yes, Anish.
I know
Yes.
I have a
Just tell me.
basic idea of QoS. Yes.
Yes. What is that?
So QoS tells us like the information which we send to the sender, how accurately it is received at the receiver, like without loss of packets, loss of data, how it is arranged, etc. So
Right.
that is generally what service means.
And when we use this QoS in which service?
We generally use it in TCP.
Okay. Okay. Now,
Because
okay, everyone having a phone.
VoIP also
All of you are
uses
using. Oh, yes. All of you are using
Yeah.
mobiles, right?
yes.
So,
Yes.
and if you want to call someone, so at the time you are using a VoIP service, right? Voice over IP,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? So the VoIP service. Okay. So if VoIP service is there, so VoIP service requires some QoS. Because if some traffic is got delay, some data got delay or got dropped, so you are not able to hear. Right. Sometimes in our session it also be in my voice. Sometimes you are saying that, but 10 seconds it will blank, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is because of this. In the 10 seconds period, okay, the data got lost. Okay. So some of the service require QoS, quality of service, like VoIP service, especially VoIP services. Okay, so we have scan after the action. If traffic is allowed, so it will scan the traffic and then it will check the QoS, whether there is quality of service is there or not. Okay. Okay, so these are the things about the app ID. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so this is about the app ID. Understood this, guys? There are so many things behind this into here.
Yes, Suresh.
Everyone?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And you can see here the QoS in this Palo Alto under the policy. Can you see this? QoS.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now next thing, we have one more. Yes.
Where is talking?
Yes, Shrodit, any question?
Yeah. So, Anish, why is QoS checked after like scanning? For what? What would be the purpose of that?
QoS will check the service, the quality of the service.
Okay. No. Like after the data is scanned,
Hmm.
QoS checked. But like, why exactly would firewall check QoS? Because it's not for the firewall to check. It's either for the source or the destination.
Firewall check
What
whether the traffic is appropriate, whether our traffic is linked up with each other. So the QoS will check this thing. Like on over the VoIP, also over IP, the service requires the
Okay.
continuous traffic, continuous data.
Yeah.
Okay, so QoS check this thing.
Okay. So if there is a bad QoS, what happens then?
Don't worry, we have sys. We have a session for this. No? At the time we can explain. Don't worry. I know that you are
Okay.
curious about to see this thing. Now this is the QoS.
Okay.
Here you can create a QoS service. If you want some service that you has to be quality, so that service you can add here. So QoS service will take care whether the service is working fine.
Okay.
Okay, now in the security policy, guys, here. Okay, now we are moving deeper into the applications now. Okay, in the security policy, guys. Okay, we create this policy, right, to allow DNS, SSL, and web browsing, right, in our previous session. Remember?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but here we didn't mention any kind of website. We just allow the services here, applications, DNS, SSL, and web browser, right? But we choose your application that is default. If you see here, the service we can choose your default services. Okay, now, so today we are, now the next point is we are going to discuss is, let me just make a PPT over here for you, so you can understand this thing. Granular app control. general app control, and it has 2 points. Depends on, and second one is implicit use. Implicitly use. Okay, so we are going to discuss now more about the application. Okay, about the application ID. Using the app ID, we can do this thing, same thing using app ID. Okay, so in this our previous session, we allow the services like DNS, SSL, web browsing. We allow these applications. Okay, and other service we choose here the default one. Other service we choose here what the service application default, right? So in this application granular app control, what we have, suppose, let me explain this in this diagram only. Let me just remove everything here. Okay, now firewall, outside world, this is my Bob, who's not connected to this firewall, and this is here. Okay, now this is Bob, PA device, and ASP. Okay. Now here we have one user called Bob. Okay. Okay. Now Bob wants to access Facebook. We can see the simple example. Facebook or Google, any website. Okay, so we already allow this thing, right? We allow the HTTP, we allow the HTTP also, right? SSL and web browser. So it will directly access the Facebook here, right? But suppose in the Facebook there are so many features are there, right? In the facebook.com there are so many features like chat, video, then you can say games, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, Anish.
Okay, so now suppose if you want to allow the Facebook, but you don't want to allow chat, you don't want to allow videos, or you don't want to allow games, or we can say etc. anything like applications. We have option for applications also. We don't want to allow all these things, the features of the Facebook, like chat, video, games, application. Okay, so the facebook.com, the original site, that is a base. We can say that is a base. Okay, so in this granular app control, so we can do this thing. We can only allow facebook.com, the base website. Okay, so user, it will allow only the facebook.com. It can check the post. Okay, it will upload the change the post. Okay, that's it. The user is not able to chat with anyone. User is not able to see the video. User is not able to play games. User is not able to use any kind of application associated with the Facebook. Okay, so you can also do this thing under the app ID, using the app ID. Okay, let me give you one more example, like Google. Okay, there is one more application called Google. Sorry. Here. Google.com. So the Google.com, that is my base website name base. So Google.com has so many services like
Search.
so that is the most important. That is the base.
Gmail,
Gmail,
Mail. YouTube.
and then
Hangouts.
Maps,
Maps.
video chat.
YouTube.
Okay, YouTube. YouTube we can include into another category.
Images.
Images. Right. So these are the basic. There are so many. Okay. So if you want to allow Google.com, but you don't want to allow Gmail, you don't want to allow Maps, or you don't want to allow images, so you can also do this thing. So the Google.com, that is a base. Okay. So we have two options here in this. That the granular app control has two options here. Depends on an implicitly use. Okay. So like, let me explain this depends on a simple thing, simple language. Okay, suppose there is one building here. Okay, suppose there is one building here. Okay. Now this is my first floor, second floor, and third floor. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Suppose, can you directly put second floor without using first floor? If we remove this first floor from this building, what happens?
Second and third floor will collapse.
Right. Okay. So here we can say this. Let me explain the thing easily. Okay. Suppose this is the first floor, right? So we can say here this is like Facebook. Suppose this is a Facebook, right? Facebook. Sorry. Okay. So this is a base. This is a base, right? Without the base, you cannot build the floors, right? In the building, without a base, are you able to increase the floor numbers?
No.
Yes or no,
No.
guys?
No.
No. So in this example of Facebook, so Facebook.com, that is a base. Okay, without allowing the base service, Facebook.com, you cannot allow the associated services with the Facebook like chat. You cannot allow another service like video. Okay, so to allow this thing, you need to first allow the base service, Facebook.com, and then you can allow chat if you want to allow. If you want to allow this thing. Okay, so this is about the depends on. So this chat service, the games, video, this is depends on this base, Facebook.com, right? Without a Facebook.com allowing this, we cannot allow this thing. And even also in Google.com, we need to first allow this. Then only the user is able to access Gmail. You can able to access maps. You can able to access images. Understood that depends on.
Yes.
There's so many noise out there. Who's that? Hello guys. Understood this?
Yeah, yes, Anish.
Everyone?
Yes, Anish, yes.
Yes, Anish.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, now we have one more option called implicitly used. Implicitly uses. We can say use. Okay. Now, suppose I want to allow Facebook.com. Okay. So Facebook.com uses what kind of services? Which protocol they use? Which port number they use?
443.
HTTP uses 80.
443. HTTPS.
HTTPS is 443.
Yeah, actually it depends on the services we use, right?
Right. Now, Facebook.com, the base website. Suppose you want to allow the Facebook.com. Okay, this base service. So you need to ensure two things, that with the web service, web browsing is also allowed, and SSL is also allowed. Because without allowing this, you cannot access Facebook, right?
Yes.
Right, guys?
Yeah. And
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Without allowing
Anish.
this web browsing and SSL, you cannot access Facebook.com, right? So that is your implicit uses. That is called what? Implicit uses. Okay, so to allow any kind of application and the features, first you need to allow the implicit features of the website. Without that implicit, you cannot access the particular website, and you cannot use the features that you want to use. Okay, so this is called implicit uses, guys. So the whole thing is about the granular app control. We can say this, we can do with this in app ID only. Granular app control. Understood this?
Anish,
Yes.
other than facebook.com, can you give any example for implicitly use?
Yeah, we can see that implicitly used, like suppose we have one more website.
Yahoo.com.
Yeah,
Yahoo.com is also usually the same, right?
Yeah, Yahoo.com. So Yahoo.com use which application, which service, which protocol? Web browsing,
Web browsing, right?
HTTP,
Yeah,
right?
web browsing.
Web browsing.
Yeah.
Okay, and suppose
And
if you
also
logged
SSL.
into a Yahoo Mail, so it also use SSL.
SSL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So same thing here. This is the implicit uses. Because without the implicit uses, you cannot access this Yahoo.com. First, you need to allow
Okay.
the services, and then you can access this.
Okay.
Anish,
Yes.
just like for the yahoo.com, if you want to use, should we use any messaging service like IMAP or POP3?
Yeah, you can use that. So according to that website or service, you have to allow first the service into your security policy.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Anish.
Okay, so this is all about
Yeah.
the Granular app control, guys. Understood, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Anish.
Good. Now I have quick questions for all of you guys.
Okay.
Okay, not now. I'm going to ask you this question tomorrow. Then you will see whether you are able to answer the question or not. Okay, fine. Let me ask you. I'm not able to give surprises. There's one more surprise for all of you in the later sessions. Okay, so don't play with the surprise. Let's start. Okay, now first question. What are the implied apps used by Facebook base?
What are the?
Implied apps used by the Facebook base.
Web browsing and SSL.
Right. Web browsing and SSL.
Oh, you changed from implicitly to implied, so it all got confused, I think so.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happened. I didn't understand what implied means.
So this kind of words you heard during the interview, guys. Implied apps. So it's simple thing. Implied apps means one kind of implicit use.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I need to start English classes tomorrow.
Now next question. When do you manually have to permit a supporting app? When do we manually have to permit a supporting app?
When service request protocol that is not allowed it, and that time we.
What is my question? When do we manually have to permit a supporting apps?
When we need implicit use of something.
No. What is the first point in Granular app?
Depends on.
Depends on. What is the depends on?
Base, like.
Base. Suppose if you want to use Facebook chat, so first you have to allow Facebook base, right?
Base. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is depend on what kind of application.
So we have to do it manually. So.
That is your answer is depends on.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to allow the base application first. Then you can use the supporting apps. Okay. Understood this?
Right.
Yes.
So this is just like in mobile phone, when you install some application, it requires some data from your mobile, and that time you allow that. Suppose if you install Gmail and it wants to access your contacts, so it's just like that, right?
No,
you first allow the contacts, and then Gmail use your contacts.
But if you don't allow, then also we have the access of Gmail, right?
No, I think In the mobile, Gmail first asks for the contacts.
But if you don't allow, you don't want to share this information, the contact information of mine to anyone else. If I don't want to share this, then?
Yeah, then we have to enter it manually, right?
Right. So we can use the then we if we disallow this, okay. Then also we have the access of Facebook, Gmail. Sorry, right? We can access.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
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 Okay. But here is not like this one. Here, suppose if you want to use Facebook chat, right? Or if you want to use Facebook, if you want to see Facebook video, so first we need to allow the base application, that is facebook.com. Then and then only you can allow the supporting application associated with the facebook.com. Without allowing the Facebook base, you cannot allow supporting application.
Okay.
Suppose if you have a SIM card and you don't have a phone, are you able to use the SIM card?
No.
You require the phone, right?
Right.
Yeah, so same here. To use a Facebook chat, Facebook video, you require to allow facebook.com base services.
Okay.
Okay. Now understood?
Yes.
Good. Now the last question, why might we not have to allow supporting apps?
What? Anish, can you repeat the question?
Yes. Why might we not have to allow supporting apps?
Maybe to prevent malicious.
What is my question? Why might we not have to allow supporting apps? I'm asking you supporting apps. Simple answer, guys. The answer is already there. You answer this question in the first answer. Your answer is same in the first.
Since the base.
No.
Like implicit use?
Yes. Implied apps.
Yeah.
If you already have the implied rules, like implied apps in yours, so you don't need to create the supporting apps. You need to allow supporting apps because you already allow this, like web browsing and SSL. In our environment, we already allow the web browsing SSL. So no need to create one more rule to again allow web browsing and SSL. It's already there, so it is implied.
Okay.
And for supporting apps, like suppose if you want to allow any kind of Facebook chat, so you already allow facebook.com. Okay, before that you already allow web browsing and SSL. Right, so you have the implied rules like facebook.com base.com Facebook base and web browsing SSL. So no need to create whole thing again because you have the implied rules. Getting my point?
Yes, Anish.
Everyone?
Yes.
Anish, can you explain it again, please?
Yes. Yeah. Like, suppose you allow facebook.com, right? You allow Facebook based service, okay? Facebook based.
Okay.
And you also allow the web browsing and SSL, right? Okay. So suppose if you want to allow Facebook video, okay. So you are not again allowing the Facebook based service, right? Because it's already allowed.
Yes, yes.
You are not allowing the web browsing and SSL because it's already allowed. Okay, so that is, yeah. So for supporting apps, that Facebook based, the web browsing and SSL, that is implied. That is called implied apps.
Okay. Okay.
That is required to access facebook.com. Without that, you cannot use Facebook chat or Facebook video.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Anish, one question, Anish.
Mm-hmm.
So when we allow Facebook-based SSL and web browsing, is Facebook chat by default allowed through it?
No. That we need to allow.
How does it be implicit use then?
We have this, we are going to see all the things practically. Don't worry.
Okay.
Because we have session practical session.
Okay. So no, my question was like so Facebook chat should be allowed separately again, but it's just the service like SSL which will be used here. Is it so?
Don't worry. We have practical, so at that time you understood all these things.
Okay. Okay. Fine, Anish. Okay.
Because if I explain this thing right now, you are not able to understand everything. So I will demonstrate you how to do this thing. Then I think I will clear your doubts.
Sure. Okay, Anish.
Right? Okay. Fine. So everyone understood about the app ID